Hello, angels. My name is Clara, and welcome to When the Moon Rises, a feminine podcast to share stories and tools to hopefully help other beautiful women in the world. Hello, my lovely. So, welcome to one more episode. Today, I have one special being with me that I'm really so excited to present to one of my Kriya Yoga teachers, Martina. Welcome in the space.
Thank you. Thank you, Clara.
By now, I really want to ask you, as I always do, we are almost in a new moon. So right now, the main question pops up, at least for me, is like, what it can possibly be wrong when we want to take a first step towards our dreams, and what we are afraid of. What are the stories that we still hold on because we are afraid, or we want to be a little bit more safe? Are we allowing ourselves to begin? So for me, Kriya was actually a very beautiful way that I start to work deeper and self-discover myself. So for now, my loves, as I always do, even before present my lovely sister today, and even before we start to dive wherever it rises, I just always welcome you to land in a space. And this means to even look around and even stay curious what you can bring into the space that make you feel more nourishing, more safe. If it is water, cup of tea, if you want to just lie down or sit down, and maybe when you're ready, maybe placing the hand on the heart and just taking deep breaths as deep as you need today. Just allow yourself to land exactly as you are. Maybe there is some resistance in the body. Just even notice if you need some wiggles, or your body just want to stay still. With your breath, if it needs some organic movement to just feel a little bit more safe. Knowing that there is no right or wrong, that you are home. And just even pick a place on your body that it feels good. It could be anything, your belly expanding, or either your rib cage. A place that you can always come back to in this spot every time you feel a little bit more triggered. That you are safe to feel and stay with what is. Just holding a little bit more the space. Even before you start, maybe even tune in with this question. And am I ready to coming from the unseen? What other stories I still hold on? yourself to just flow throughout this little pod. Maybe take your journal. Maybe just stay with your eyes closed. Change your position if you want. Maybe for us, maybe we just start to bring awareness to the body again, to the space around us. And just trust in the guidance of our heart to just take this spot wherever it feels more nourishing within us. Maybe I will invite Martina to see if there is any organic movement she wants to do before she come into the space with me, honoring their time. And wherever she's ready to say hello, and even present herself, her beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gifts, what she's doing. Hello.
Hello, hi everyone, and hi Clara. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor to be able to talk about this journey of liberation and warrior of light that we are on. Yes. So yes, it's a journey that not many people know yet in Europe, but it's actually very sacred and ancient from the Himalayas. Hmm.
I'm very curious. I'm just putting here in the spot. I can see you better. I'm very curious. I know many people ask about the Kriya Yoga, what it is. I don't know if it makes more sense for you to start with that, or actually what it took you to this journey. What was the call in your heart? Just hold it in the space.
So it's very interesting because Kriya Yoga comes to us, and most of the time we don't choose it in a conscious way. So it's a very ancient lineage that it's from ascended masters, and the main one is called Mahavatar Babaji, which maybe we will talk about a bit more later. And it just came to me, this experience. I didn't choose it as many other people at that time. It was in pandemic time. I was in Bali and I was supposed to stay 2 weeks on holiday from Australia. And then a pandemic came and I couldn't leave Bali for 6 months. So I just started to do some courses around, and there was this meditation teacher training I just joined for myself because at that time I was really not able to meditate and had a lot of in my head and thinking. So I just took it, and every day, at the end of the day, we had a Himalayan Kriya Yoga, which nobody knew what it was. It was just another type of yoga for us. And I remember, I will never forget my first class. It was about around 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. And it was the weirdest yoga I ever experienced because there is no asana, no stretching. It's all about tapping and shaking and breathing. And straight away, the first session, I could compare it like a liberation of emotional liberation that I never ever experienced, and I wasn't even aware I was suppressing so many emotions. I was pretty much a people pleaser, but I was pretty much in my power because I was traveling alone and I found myself. I was fully in love with myself, so I was very happy. um, but that opens up my inner child and my wound of my that time where I didn't know was so painful, and I didn't even want to look at it. It can even go way deeper to past lives and family lineage. But the first session, I remember, it opened all my childhood issues and traumas and pain. And wow, it was incredible. I probably cried the whole session, everybody, because it liberates. You feel the body had to express these emotions in order to be actually healthy, and it's not nothing bad because you can make space for new things. So that's how it started, and I found out it was every day for 3 weeks, and that was one of my biggest awakening, because yeah, I opened up to emotion, to feeling emotions, to understand any emotions, from the highest emotion of joy, pure oneness, to the deepest. And that's, I believe, why we come here on earth, to experience all of them and consciously after choose which one we want to vibrate. Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like you were telling that it just it kind of related my heart. It was one time you're doing this class to us, and I start to crying, but in a compulsive way, and you keep saying like tap in the heart, tap in the heart, and I was crying so much, but there was this thing you said to me that I will never ever forget, and I always carry with me, and I even put in my room, which is the picture of my inner child. Because you said to me, can you come to us to come back to this to the past and remember something about our childhood, yeah, some memory that actually was happy, but I couldn't remember because all my childhood was very dark. um, so I felt like I needed to clean that grief of my inner child. But then you said, but imagine your inner child come to you, give you a hug. And I picture that part of myself, still so pure, so bright, so confident, that was, no one took that for her yet,
Mm-hmm.
that she was still like so vibrant. And I was not her savior, she was mine. And I imagined that her coming to me, hug me, and bringing that part of myself that I wanted to keep alive. You know, when she was dancing, when she wanted to be seen, and she wanted to grieve for her and
Yeah.
bring it into my heart. So when you said was the most beautiful thing, and then it just say to ourselves, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that really changed my experience, because I felt like you didn't just bring Kriya in a way I experienced before, and it was different, was super nourishing to also have that space to say to ourselves, I love you, and how much that makes the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
It
know?
brings a lot of grounding in our
Yeah.
essence, because that's the ground, the root chakra, our inner
Mm-hmm.
child. And most of us, we just don't want to think about it. We just want to forget about it, or we are afraid to remember, or we don't even know the importance, um, of going back in time and meet the need we couldn't receive at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
in a conscious way, we can actually recreate that space back in time with many exercises. But it's definitely how we feel grounded and safe in who we are. And it's a massive thing right now going on in the world, because that's we know that a number one to to heal and to look at. It
Mm-hmm.
takes also a bit of courage, of course. So that's why we are getting more and more, so we can inspire each other and say, hey, this is actually the best thing you can do. I know it's a little bit scary. I know it can be a little bit
Mm-hmm.
weird and maybe tears and or any emotion maybe rise, but it simply wants to be expressed. And once you express it, I'm sure you felt that. Once you express it, after you feel so grounded, so liberated, and so clear, everything like, whoa, reality comes so clear, like never before. And you will never go back. And it's a massive shift. I will be forever grateful for these tools because it's life changing. Of course, we shift very quickly to a better version of ourselves.
Totally. I feel that many people are scared. Are scared
Mm-hmm.
to feel. I think we actually live more in Europe. We live in this society that, we want a quick fix, but the fix is like taking a pill or, just putting a layer. It's like you have a wound and you just put something and
Yeah.
so you don't see it, and then it becomes ugly and becomes even more painful because we are not taking care of that part. So I definitely experienced in the classes like what was I confess in that month I was so exhausted, but it was first was exhausted emotionally, physically, but then it was it was like a light just exploding. It was like I needed to take the responsibility
Yes.
for me,
Yes.
né? To
Correct.
welcome what is, to clean, and to even honor the times if I needed to rest, to recalibrate the energy that I was moving, and then it just shift completely. So I was
Yes.
actually curious to ask you, like, first, maybe don't many people don't know what it actually means, the Kriya. If you could explain this more a little bit. You already talked a little bit about the shaking, the tapping.
Yes. So that's exactly the point. So Kriya,
Mm-hmm.
the word in Sanskrit means action. And that's also in
Mm-hmm.
terms of taking responsibility once we are now adults to make an action, to take actions and to go through all this um, understanding and compassion and forgiving and making something shifting because we have a free will, even though it doesn't feel like because of society, it's actually the opposite. We are understanding we have a free will. And Kriya, which it's also has a different lineages, but the one we do with Himalayan Kriya Yoga, it's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more profound in terms of energy release because we use a lot our legs. So we stand up pretty much of the time. We shake. We use tapping technique in a little bit deeper way than EFT. And we use the points of acupuncture in the whole body, and that is connected with an emotion. So each part of the body has a connection with a specific emotion. And when we tap there, we apply breath work. There are many types of breath work we use, but mainly uh, it's also be known as lion breath, but it's
Mm-hmm.
in Himalayan Kriya Yoga, we call it Kali. Kali is the goddess of boundaries. It's the goddess of enough. This is me. I love myself. And that's also love. Love is not only saying yes to everything. Love is also saying no, because it's like giving candy to a kid. And we can't always say, yes, you can have candy. You can have, no, we have to, because we love the kid, we have to say no. And that's the same for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. We have to learn to say no. And Kali Mudra or lion breath has this weird phase of tongue out, which many people has to go through, release self-judgment. Yeah, so that
Mm-hmm.
also helps us to be in our inner child again and not care how other people, because we know who we are. So we tap and we exhale, and during this 1 minute, just 1 minute, it's enough normally, as you know. We have to just observe what's happening, and normally we have a lot of visions of memories, or we have a massive download or understanding of why, what happened. Uh, it's all connected. So it liberates the biophotons, which is energy or prana in the body. When we tap, it moves, so the energy can move again, because we constantly have energy moving in and out. But when we mentally have emotion, the emotion is not expressed or understood, it blocks. And that also, nowadays we have so many diseases and tumors and cancers, and it's really important to understand that it's not just happening by itself. It always starts from our mind, our perception, our experiences. So we can heal it, and we can even prevent it by tapping and breathing. And it's a massive healing and boost for the immune system, and it gives a lot of physical benefits as well, not only for the mind. We rejuvenate basically. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting because actually, even before we jump on the call, we were talking about this, like the being responsible about our lineage. And of course, it's difficult to, be the generational cycle breaker, as I like to call it. But it's really a journey because when we talk about emotions, so we were many people just it's just associated with the body, and I really like this concept. Actually, we explore with you even in Pee-wee, like as emotions as also energy, and when we are holding to it, it's just like we are just creating a bomb inside. And even when we have a part of ourselves, we talk about the cancer and everything, the part of ourselves that is it's dying, it really needs so much acceptance, love,
Yeah.
and take care of that part, and really like embracing like a little baby in the arms, and just giving every day a little bit more love. And even it's like the when the emotions lunge lunge on our body, it also can have a symbolic meaning. Like when you talk about the cancer, what it pops up for my head is like, for example, the grief. For example, making grief for someone. So you're talking about the death. So it can symbolically be held in a place in our heart, in our bodies, that is connected with life or creation. Like, for example, the womb
Hmm.
could be a place, or for example in this area like the breast for the woman, because more close to the heart, which is also for the reason we are alive, we are breathing. And I think that many times people don't have this conception that really when we are not welcoming that emotions, we are just trap them in our bodies, and that is the reason why we get healed, and that is the reason also that many times we also bringing this baggage to other
Oh,
generations,
yes.
and then we no, and then we ask, why this is happening to me?
Hmm.
And it is was all
Yeah,
within us for such a long
correct.
time. And I know you also talk a lot about the releasing the emotions in your class. Even when we touch, like you said, right now, a lot of fear, the grounding, it's so important right now when we talk about the emotion releasing, especially the fear. What is in your on your opinion, what is the part of the body that identify more, where it is important as to start to work with?
For the fear
And your
specifically. Yes, well, fear in general, it's something we came to overcome as human beings. And it's specifically in Himalayan Kriya Yoga. It's located in the back of the neck, in the hairline, the kidneys, also the lower back, but also in the area of the solar plexus, which is our inner warrior. And that's why we have a lot of issue, maybe of pain in the stomach if we press it, as well as in the calf muscle in our legs. There are not only these points, but pretty much the back of the neck, our stomach and belly, all this area, and the legs are giving a lot of grounding and feeling present and releasing also, I call it a fear program, because as you said, we carry fears from the generations of our family lineage. It used to be a lot about judgments, how we look as a family. We have to always look as other people want. And this was a massive block for expressing our soul. So we had to be as we've been taught, and that's not anymore. So the fear of being different and the fear of saying something that nobody would say, and the fear also to shine. Fear to shine because long time ago it was like we all have to follow rules, so you can't be different, and if you shine, you're a witch. But now we're understanding that the more we are shining, the more we are creating a heaven on earth, because nobody is the same. Even if we all shine, it's not a competition. It's everybody brings something unique and something special. And of course, we go through a bit of spiritual ego. We are a copy because we are like kids. We have to copy first. We have to get inspired and then be able to be honest and say, okay, is this me? I'm learning these tools, but then I have to make it as I want to do it, as it makes me feel good. So it's the fear of shining. It's fear of our own power. As my teacher Samten always says, we are afraid of our own power.
Definitely.
But fear, just wanted to add that fear is actually our protection. Fear, it's very useful because it takes us stopping us to jump down of a bridge. We need a little bit of fear to be safe, but most of the time it's so in a subconscious level. Fear says, "Oh no, don't do this. It's dangerous. It's out of the comfort zone. You don't know, unknown. You don't know. It's the unknown." But then when you consciously say, "Hang on, fear, I know that this will be safe. This will be amazing. I would feel so happy because I can be myself and I can help others." So there's the fear in the subconscious level say, yeah, that's right. So the fears relax. So this is when we have to check with the subconscious mind what is the belief system.
The old stories. Yeah, it's just even can be even like crazy just to think like it can be hours, but it can be already it can be already programmed in our minds. Like even a fear that our mother experienced when we were in their belly, for
Yes,
example, or no, it can be.
yes,
It can be for all the generations. Sometimes we don't know, oh my God, where did this come from? It just
yeah,
not rationalize too much how you say it many times, even in the classes. Don't try to then personalize and just allowing to just flow and work with that. Like I think like has yeah, as human beings we tend to rationalize too much. But always like, why? But why? Like, why do you leave me? Why you abandon me? Why you rejecting? And we never take this question towards ourselves
Yeah.
and to take the journey inside to ourselves. And I abandon the parts of myself or what I am
Hmm.
truly afraid of, and take that response instead of blaming, which
Yeah.
is so much easier now, just
Yeah.
to welcome in.
The
Definitely.
it's also important to recognize that maybe we are afraid because we experienced something in this lifetime in childhood that made us a reality that is scaring. But
Exactly.
it can
Mm-hmm.
also be when we really don't know where does it come from. I personally went back in time. I explored a lot my family lineage, and I found out that was actually not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not blaming, but definitely helps to help them and help me and my future generations. So it's like, wow, that's because we all had this childhood of not feeling. Probably 95% of population, we haven't had the family, the dream family we wanted. So we all went through this abandonment and not feeling loved and supported. So in the end of the day, I found out so many things that were not mine. They were all from my mother, my father, my grandmother, great grandfather. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's massive. It's beautiful because when we are aware, we can help them, and they're super grateful for
Mm-hmm.
this. Even if they don't have any idea, they feel it somehow, and we are their generation to stop this block because fear is a blocker. Fear blocks the energy flow. So
Mm-hmm.
what are we gonna do? Are we gonna stay in fear the whole life and maybe regret it when we are 90, or we give it a go? And whatever happens, still I try it. And we learn from failures, we learn from mistakes. It's not possible to come here perfect. Ascended masters are not perfect beings coming on earth. They came here lifetimes until they learned to master themselves and master emotion, because emotion is energy in motion. So that's what we are learning through these beings that are, um, they pave the path for us, and we can be inspired and doing our own way. But in the end of the day, we all want to feel good in life. So we have to
Yeah,
also
yeah,
feel
that's
what all the opposite in order to be able to choose. So we have to feel both.
true.
And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes, and remember, we are not physical beings only. We are energy from the beginning.
Yeah. They say even the shark, the rocks, everything around and within us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember because I remember to put this in here. The Bhagavad Gita, it says
Mm.
like, it is better to be imperfect. It's not really like this, the sentence, but it's pretty much like this. It's better to be imperfect, but be ourselves, and rather to live a life imitating others with perfection. It's like, yeah, it's like
Exactly.
it says when the identity gets wrapped, we lose the real us.
Yes.
And it is exactly what you were telling. It's like all the fears, because sometimes we are too scared to be ourselves. Because I think when we realize I want to be, I want to be myself, but we don't know how. And sometimes it's not knowing, is that we get used sometimes even to play a role. I think like sometimes we assume there are different characters along our lives, and sometimes it even feel like we were living a life that was not designed for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it just many people are still like in a robot mode. It just they are not aware, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's even that fear. Actually, after working with my mom, I recognized this, that this fear was not a mine. I also was hers when one day she said me, I was afraid to assume who I am because I was afraid that people didn't accept this version of me.
Yeah,
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 you
yeah.
can
That's the
definitely,
biggest.
maybe you can even relate to that, no? It's like
Yeah.
when when I came back from my travels here, I remember a friend of mine saying to me, I feel a little disappointed with you. And I asked why, and he said, you are different. And instantly, no, because I was a little bit, I was conscious now, that a conscious relationship. Like I was about to text him and, sorry and this and that. And then I thought, why do I need to say sorry? I love the person I become. I love the person I'm awakening. And maybe, okay, maybe you are disappointed, but I am not. And maybe being myself, it just recognizes some people will not align with me anymore, and that's okay too. Or maybe actually, they are also holding space for them to evolve. If I don't accept me and it just shape myself to be accept for them, we both, we
Yeah.
are not
No,
evolving.
nobody learns from this.
I just,
Yeah.
and I know even, like, I know even that you said to me one time, like, you don't do just the Himalayan, that there is also other things that you try to bring out to help, reprogram, to help with the releasing. And I know if you want to talk a little bit about this, or even what inspired you to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course, I believe we all need to find out what is resonates the most,
Mm-hmm.
even with many different practices. So,
Mm-hmm.
Himalayan Kriya Yoga is a very big liberation for the first part, and then helps you to remember that we are energy, because first part is let go of dramas and traumas, right? But then the real practice itself, it's to move, learn how to move the energy inside, and it clearly helps you to remember that we are source energy instead of the body. So that's amazing. But because we don't do Kriya all day long and every day, and we go out, we connect with different reality, uh, and people who had a different mindset, we start to feel their point of view of life, and we can even get a little bit sucked in this reality, which is very material, worrying, stress, job, money. Um, and that's very, very, for me, was very challenging because I'm an empath. So I learned, I didn't know I feel everybody's emotions around me. So I can identify how they feel. And I used to think it was me. So if you are an empath, I really recommend you to work a little bit deeper. For example, it's very necessary to have a daily routine where, in my case, I involve a lot of spiritual knowledge. So I study from many teachers. For example, Joe Dispenza is a neuroscience, and he explains very well what happens when we create a thought. And the thought become your reality, and we believe it's that is the reality, but it's not. So for me, studying with these people helped me massively, because I didn't know what was going on. I used I feel so good, and then maybe I go to a party or I go with many people, and I am very confused. um, so I definitely applied a lot of neuroscience meditation with conscious breath work in the spine. So our spine is very, very, very important to use to move every day. What else? I studied from different people who are managing manifestation, how to manifest. But they all say that we have to go through enemies and judgment. Like, of course, when we want to shine, we always gonna have somebody that wants to pull us down. So we have to be okay with that. We have to be ready to receive insults, not insults, but people not agree or people trying, afraid in the end that they don't want to believe in it. So for me, it's very important to balance this, the body, mind, and soul, these three aspects of Kriya Yoga cover pretty much all of them, but still the mindset can be trained. Like every day I really study with somebody or I do my meditation. I remember, I have to remember because living in a city also maybe can take you out. So I do my workout, stretching, my little Kriya practices to empower, not anymore to release. It doesn't have to be all our life letting go. Actually, that's just step one. Actually, it's like empowering and boost the immune system, and it feels you've become everything. And then I do my study. So every day I have to do this routine because it's a base. And yeah, I have many teachers that I'm super grateful for. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's been it is a journey. That's why I remember to put this as a question, even to explain a little bit the. I think it's actually like busy because I wanted to say exactly how it's in here because it really, I think, is very interesting. That when I was saying the Kriya awakens the dormant
Yeah.
power of the soul.
Yeah.
And I ask you, like, what is really truly this means? Because sometimes people think that the awakening is like, wow, or it just happened one time
No.
when we're talking about the spiritual awaken. Wow, awakened one time, and now my life is changed. Wow, I am awakened. I
Mm.
think it's important. I really would love, and I really love how you talk with this to share a little bit about
That's a very
this.
good
What
question.
is your point of view? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm.
I definitely understood that and felt that we have many awakenings, probably every day. We realize every day something. So that's awakening for me. Maybe some people, yes, they can experience that. All of a sudden they have a massive awakening and realization. That's, yes. But once that starts, it's a constant evolution. Yes, there. So what happens is that we we have energy channels called meridians in the Chinese medicine called meridians, right? And they're not physically visible, but we have many proofs anyway that we have energy. We are energy, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
all start from the belly, from the perineum, and that's because of our first root chakra and second chakras of reproduction and survival mood. And then we have the courage, so the solar plexus. So these three normally are pretty dormant because we are still in this society of survival, and we can't really express our courage. And then, of course, this energy doesn't rise. So again, the spine, it's the extension of the brain. And that's why I didn't know why it was so important. I didn't, for a long time, I was like, why is this so important? Because we have a cerebrospinal fluid inside our spine. And when that is active, we can consciously pull this energy by squeezing the belly and breathing up into this pillar of light. And we have many organs also that are, for example, important in the spiritual world. It's called third eye, but it's actually an organ called pineal gland. And the pineal gland is the portal of dimensions and creativity and intuition and so much potential that it's pretty much calcified and closed. So the awakening itself now, well, energy dormant, the inner power that comes, we can find around a lot of cup, or inner dance or kundalini activation practices where we see people moving in weird ways, and sometimes it feels a little bit like, is it real? Are they acting? What is happening? Well, of course, we have the spiritual ego coming through because we have to prove ourselves that we are important. So we want to share. But it is true that we have some energy that needs to be moved and to express. And what happened is normally they express some trauma. And it's the same like in Kriya. So we have this energy that wants to move because it's there. It's our power. And when that starts to unlock, it's a daily routine, first of all. It's not just once and then you are, yes, it can reset DNA and many things, but um, it's an energy that we have to train to move and to unlock and to really pull it up into the brain. And that opens many parts of the brain that are dormant because we know we are using very little percentage of the brain. And you get really big insights or clarity, creativity, and focus and things you would never done before. Like all of a sudden you feel very energetic and you have clear like what to do. Tun, tun, tun. It's beautiful. Um, but that can also bring us a little bit in a sort of a depression mood because we experience this massive energy, and then if we don't work on it, we don't keep that state, we feel completely lazy, we are confused. So this is also why many people are confused in the awakening, because they experience this massive, beautiful reality, and then we think it's not our fault, but it's actually our responsibility to keep working on it, integrating. And I still believe it's very little what happened to us, because the real Kundalini I heard from my gurus, it can be even very painful, like very, very, very painful, because we release all the identity of who we think we are. Yeah. So that's something very, very deep, but in a way, it's actually where we come from. Again, we come from energy source. And it's important to have our little practice daily to remember that we are energy. We have to be grateful. We have a body to express it. And yeah, and this feels so real because we can touch it, but it's actually temporary. We're not apparently dying afterwards. We have a soul. And our mission here is not to become famous or to have a success in terms of proudness, but it's to really work so much on ourselves that we can help others to go through it if they resonate in your own way. Because in the end of the day, we really want to bring heaven on earth. We can't just think about success because we want to feel good. And we want to really master everything. We all want to travel. We all want to have joy and freedom of expression. So for me now it's beyond success or yeah, becoming famous. It's really spreading through me what works for me, and thanks to teacher that worked for them. It's beautiful. Like thank you for everybody who is sharing their their tools. Hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
that's my point of view and experience what I'm experiencing right now. But we're pretty much stuck in this success. I want to be successful. I want to be famous, or fine, it can happen, of course. But for example, gurus, Sadhguru, who is worldwide, it's amazing. It's not about, yeah, of course, we can meet our needs in the material world. Why not eat amazing food and have a beautiful trip? Yes, why not? And meanwhile, we help others. And when they can help others, that it's a chain.
Said when we when we vibrate love, yeah, it was a teacher of mine was like, when we vibrate love, when we truly believe and trust on our inner guidance and trust in ourselves, you will see that everything you were worried about, it will align.
Mm-hmm.
You just trust it will align. The people, everything that you need, it will align. Because when we are vibrating and the fear, we just don't allowing to expand. This is one of the things that sometimes I said, I don't know if you agree or not, but something was also within me, and then I changed the point of view. Like I don't want to feel a certain way because I will have low vibrancy and I will be not be able to or manifest or to I don't know or to the other person feel that negativity or feel drained around me. And for me, I realized the more and more I'm talking about fear, but it can even be rage because I also had a thing with rage. The more I was blocking, the more it was getting worse. So actually, when I allow myself to just release it and work with that, it was like a transformed and such a deep compassion and love for myself and holding that space to just to me to land to just be what it is. That love it completely expand everything. So it's like a big transformation and actually holding that space to feel it and work it with that allow me to cultivate the love, and then it opened up everything. It was like emptying the cup so then I can
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
pull it back again with like clean all everything that was draining, and then yeah, then I'm able to just put it back in because otherwise it feels like a little bottle full of holes, and then it's
Yeah.
constantly coming out.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. I
so
I think it's also very, very, very important to choose the environment we are
yeah.
with, because not people are bad at all. It's just because we all have our point of view in life, and
Mm-hmm.
we our brain doesn't filter very much, so we can simply absorb some belief system without realizing it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
important to choose to spend more time or alone or with people that are really trained to work on themselves, to choose conscious decision and to really empower themselves, so we can really feed our energy body with that, and then we
Mm-hmm.
can share this to others. But if we always stay um, around people that are still a lot in fear or in this mindset, we don't help each other. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very
Yeah.
important to choose now consciously with who we are with, so we can help them also by being the example, and that's the only way.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I always, I don't know if you can relate, but I always feel like it is okay to walk away if it doesn't serve me. If it's not, it's not making me feel, if I don't align with this place anymore, it's just, I, there is not, I always try to think, okay, why do I need to try to force myself to fit on the place that
Yeah.
it don't let me vibrate, or it just draining me, or even sometimes actually when we walk away for some people life attention, even obviously some people will walk away from ours also,
Hmm.
it's always come with a lesson.
Yeah.
So I was feeling many times guilty that, oh, I'm leaving this person and she's like, I cannot do anymore, I cannot help anymore, what I'm going to do, and honor that space that I needed also to be there to myself, because how I can possibly hold someone if my arms are not strong? Or is it my responsibility to save everyone?
Yeah.
And sometimes we have a lot of these questions, and I needed some time to walk away with certain spaces, and because I couldn't anymore, and work that within my body, and even remember that sometimes in within that space we also giving to that people, the resourcefulness to that also try to work on themselves,
Mm.
meaning, like you said, like this is how you start to feel while you vibrate, and you are starting to that sense of belonging, that you're holding you're building your own community. We are all starting to work on the same. It feels like there is a magnet. You
Mm.
may experience this magnet before,
Yeah.
when you start to work on a specific theme, and then suddenly that people start to bring into your life also, and you are all working in a beautiful way.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, and even in here sometimes it is hard, um, when people are choose to be always in suffering, or hold on to
Mm.
that only story that they know. It could be hard
Yeah.
to live an environment like this.
Yeah. It's for what I experienced. It has a transition. Starts from understanding that it's important to not be too much all the time with people that are still in their fears or nightmare.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, no, 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 I don't want to even have any coffee. I mean, that's what I experienced. I can't handle it. I really need to first build myself, refill with my conscious choice of what I want to believe. And now, of course, I had a lot of rejection because I was not strong enough to hold on my belief system, was still weak.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Yeah.
realized that I was rejecting, and I was actually a little bit emotionally, I was a little bit also not so nice, which I never been. I was a very kind person before. So I experienced this type of emotion of the anger, rejection. No? Finally, for now, I understood that if I choose to be with people that are still maybe afraid or in this confusion modality lifestyle, if I go, I love to test myself how much I can hold, but I'm not there to teach them anything. I'm not going to teach things. I'm just holding who I want to be, and making myself stronger and stronger so I can hold on in any situation, because that's my challenge. Um, of course, I would not live all my life every day, because it's the light. It's hard to hold, but then it's when people maybe start to be like, oh, how do you, wow, you're so happy. How do you do this? And then if they ask, yes, there are possibilities, yes, but I won't anymore chase or try to share, oh, you should do this. That's the spiritual ego again. It's simply like I am myself. I just want to shine my light, and yeah, and challenge if, how long I can stay. But then it's beautiful because it transforms. It's a magnet, as you said. People start to feel attracted, like, oh, well, how? What's your secret? What do you do to feel good? Like, really? So then that's how we get inspired. Ascended Master are not coming to us and teaching us. We are actually looking at them and feel naturally this peace, and something is telling you, maybe learn something from this. Yeah, because they prove. Yeah, we are the proof that it's possible. That's all about. When we know somebody made it, that shift, and it's like, oh, really? That person healed that, or that person made that by themselves. Then it's possible. Then that's amazing. That's the biggest way, because it's real. It's not just on a book or on a story that somebody say. You really see the proof. That's what we need.
People get people get inspired by stories. Always. Yeah. Especially when they can relate it to them, definitely. Um, yeah, and even accept, yeah, it happened to me before, was even accepted that the person might be not in a journey yet, and maybe it's not in the same journey as me, because we all, we all have different journeys.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you said, by honoring my values and honoring myself and grounding myself into who I am, I can, yeah, maybe I can inspire the other if it is ready to, start this journey
yeah,
with me just by feeling it, because our energy is kind of contagious,
yeah,
no? And it might not be when we want, it needs to be when they want. And when this happened is like, oh wow, and especially if it is someone that we really love, that that is very, very beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes,
um what I wanted to say is, and honor us to, honor this new beginnings. I think we are always like, always like, in a not in a yeah, in a circle.
spiral.
Woman, a circle. Yeah, in the spire. Um, what you could say, just as to start to wind down, um, to the people that are hearing, then might they get a little afraid, even with these Leon seasons, a lot of energies in the air, and even to honor their beginnings. If you could say something to encourage them, or even could be something that someone said to you, attention, that really, it was really, that sentence that you say, oh, I will use it as my mantra, everything. What you could say?
Hmm.
Hmm.
For sure, to start communicating with ourselves, talking even out loud to ourselves, so that we can really start to tuning in the heart, and be honest, be raw, be bold of anything that we are going through, so we can access to um, knowledge and to admitting, because we are hiding, trying to put masks, but it's actually the opposite. Once you start to say, yes, I feel actually mm, sad today. I feel, yes, I can't do what I want. And that's something shift, and it's amazing how we start to finally find compassion and acceptance. Like, yes, today I feel confused. Instead of self-sabotaging ourselves, oh my God, why? So that's first step one, to be honest and get a bit raw. Like, yeah, that's the number one step. Um, and also, why do we want to feel better? And always figuring out the reason we want something, because sometimes we chase it, but we don't really understand why. And when you know why, which is always for the good of you and everybody around you, it gives you, finally opens your heart to the motivation, to the purpose. And finding, maybe, as I said before, a little routine that we should do every day, that connects us to our inner, to ground to our power, our soul, our heart, our mission. um, and accept, yeah, first acceptance, and then move forward what we want to explore in this lifetime, because it's very unique. being grateful for what we have already.
Just because it's hard, it doesn't mean that it's going to be impossible. Just it is hard to begin, but it doesn't mean that it will always be like this. And the acceptance is always the first step. Always, 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 always.
Yeah, the more we suffer or we go through, we face hard time, the stronger we become. It doesn't mean we have to look for catastrophic uh, episodes, but if it comes, and it will always teach you and make you stronger and more powerful and grounded in your power. It's incredible. Hmm.
I was just looking, sometimes I like to finish. I have a very, very old book with that. Sometimes I travel. Sometimes I like to open randomly at the sentence that pop up. That you can see how old it, it is. It was just how, where we were talking, it just says, all parts of the journey are sacred and holy. Take time now to honor the beginning. Trust your heart, the universe, and yourself. Beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very, very
Yeah.
beautiful. Mm.
So, as always, even before we're just finishing, I just really wanted to show gratitude for Martina to be present in the
Thank,
description. As always, I leave always the link so you can search a little bit about what she's doing. She will be in Bali. How long are you going to be in Bali, love?
yeah, from October until January.
So you can experience a little bit your work if you are in there. We can leave everything in the description, what she's doing, the ways to work with her, so you can even have a little chat if you want, like maybe pop up in a call with her so you can experience her work really, really in a more intimate way.
Yes.
I don't know if there is any more that you want to say to.
Uh,
Mm,
yes, well, if you feel the call anyway to explore your emotional body, or anyway feel something there, like me, I didn't know what it was. It's something there. Always follow your heart and trust you're guided to find the right person for you.
mm-hmm,
But really check when it resonates. That's
mm-hmm,
also very important.
yeah,
Hmm.
mm-hmm,
And I'm very grateful, of course, to share this all this journey. And I hope it's gonna be helpful for sure. Because what we learned,
mm-hmm,
we want to make it easier and faster for others. Doesn't have to be long as we experience. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
always working on myself in order to naturally share it in the fastest way and less painful possible, and more joyful, and choosing the light.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clara.
So you're welcome. So I would like just to quickly ask everyone, just if you just want to close a little bit your heart, just take a deep breath. And with all that we talk here today, if there is something that you wanted to just say to your heart, even to encourage in your journey or wherever it just naturally pops up. Remember to transform it into your little mantra throughout these days. Wherever you feel scared, wherever it is hard to begin, wherever you doubt yourself or start even to compare to others, that there is always this place that you can always come back into your heart. Thank you so much to all. Thank you for the bottom of my heart, and I'm sending so much love and so much light. Ariam Tatsat. Namaste.
Mariam Tatsat. Thank you so much, Clara, and everyone for watching.